Parliament's Standing Committee on Appropriations has expressed concern about the impact of electricity tariff hikes on South Africans, with prices potentially set to rise by 36% if Eskom is granted its tariff increase request. The power utility argues that it needs to recover its production costs to improve its financial sustainability. However, Parliament's Standing Committee on Appropriations believes the tariff hike request is unrealistic given the tough economic conditions in South Africa.
Firstly, I think it is unrealistic that citizens are going to be able to afford that. Secondly, we need to think carefully about how do we ensure that the debt that Eskom is facing up to is restructured and that we consider other ways of servicing that debt. And then more crucially, I do think more importantly, we all need to prioritize the notion of growth, because when we can increase our GDP growth by 1%, we can ensure that over a long period of time, we are able to not only service the sovereign debt, but ensure that Eskom is fiscally sustainable.
Eskom received 254 billion rand in debt relief from the National Treasury over 3 years to service its 480 billion rand debt. It says this year it's drawn down 8 billion rand and is projected to further draw down 54 billion rand later this year. But the utility warns that with the measures it has put in place to fix the balance sheet, it cannot return to that state of affairs.
What does the debt relief do for us at the end of the window? It will effectively take that 480 billion down to about a 250 billion rand level. And then by implication, honourable members, the debt service commitments then become not 100 billion per annum, but at 50 billion rand per annum. And it's important that as we expand and deliver on the operational requirements, the TDP, etc., Eskom must be very wary that we don't go back to a situation where we in this unsustainable level, and more importantly, we then come back to the fiscus.
On corruption, the utility says it's working closely with the Special Investigating Unit to deal with suppliers who were flagged by the Zondo Commission. It says it's also on track to bring several units back online before March next year as part of its generation recovery plan to ensure load shedding remains suspended. But SCOPA says municipal debt remains a concern.
It's really important that we also help Eskom in other ways. Municipalities currently owe Eskom about 85 billion rand. By March next year, it will be 98 billion. By March 2026, it will be 128 billion. So what you have is Eskom continuing to supply municipalities with electricity that does not get paid for. The outcome, part of the outcome of that, they ask for higher price increases on a regular basis. We have to balance these three things together.
The committees will also be conducting an oversight visit to PRASA this week. SABC News, Johannesburg.